What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Let me come on here. Hey, what's up, you guys? How's everybody doing? Let me say hi to everybody. Oh, excuse me. Let me go to the top. Hey, Lock Queen. What's up, Powerful? Hey, Abby. What's up, Jonathan? Hey, Sylvia. What's up, boo? Lady V. What's up? Yes, happy Sunday, everyone. Hey, Queen Diva. Yes, I saw Trey and I got my cookies. My nephew made me some cookies, y'all. He made me some snickerdoodles. Those are my favorite cookies. I love snickerdoodles. Yes, I went over there this morning. You're in New York and that snow. Oh, baby, the snow in New York. Yes. Queen Diva, did I say hey, boo? Hey, if I didn't. Hey, Lauren. What's up, C Golden? Yes. Thank you. So, you guys, we're going to jump into this Janet documentary. And then we're going to hop on over to the other channel a little bit later on. And we're going to talk about, where did I put the book? Oh, we are going to talk about As the Wicked Watch. This actually is a really, really good book. If you guys haven't been reading it, you can still join us for the conversation. This is a really, really good book. And it's very connected to what we deal with today. When you this is about it's a murder mystery. So we'll get into it on my channel. Y'all meet me over there. We're gonna talk about it. But it's a good book. I'm enjoying it. So far so good. You like snickerdoodles? Yes, honey. Those are my favorites. Well, snickerdoodles and sugar cookies, but I like me a good snickerdoodle. And baby, right out of the oven. Ooh wee. But yes, I went to see my baby today. I took him a banana. He loves bananas. And I hung out with him a little bit until he got ready to take his nap, which he did not want to take. And he was not happy about having to take his nap. He was actually, his feelings were hurt. He was a little sad when I left because my mama told him he had to take his nap and he couldn't take his tablet. Because she said, if you take your tablet, you're never going to fall asleep. So his feelings was a little hurt. But anyway, so that's what we're doing this afternoon. But let's get into this Janet documentary. The title is, parts 3 and 4, what they didn't say. Because here's the thing. They said a lot, okay? And let's be clear. Janet is under no obligation to tell us all her business. Let me just put that out there. Janet is under no obligation. Oh, Lord. Sorry. Okay. Ooh, I'm sorry. Ooh, I done hit a button. She is under no obligation to tell us all her business. Let's just be clear. And even though she agreed to do the documentary, I think she shared a lot, and I think she gave us a lot. But you know, y'all, it was some stuff that just didn't come up. So we're gonna talk about what happened, but we also gonna talk about some things that didn't happen. Okay. Because, baby, let's go ahead and get into it. First of all, let me just say that I enjoyed it. Okay, I definitely enjoyed it. I think that overall it was really good. I think that towards the end it suffered from a lot of documentaries suffer. You spend so much time on the early parts that you get to the end, and it's almost like you're trying to jam pack everything in the last like 10 minutes, like, oh, and boom. But I do think it was really good. I think Janet was more comfortable sharing stuff, older things, than she was sharing more current things for obvious reasons. You know, for obvious reasons, she was more comfortable sharing things that already happened at a 10 years old, 15 years old, than stuff that's maybe only a year or two old that she's still dealing with. But we're going to definitely get into it. So we picked up part 3 and part 4 picked up with her getting her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Yeah, we're going to get to that, little baby. Oh, that's on my list of things that we didn't talk about, okay? So we picked up in 1990 with Janet made the she got her star on the Walk of Fame. We see her in her Rhythm Nation. She was still in her Rhythm Nation era because she had that whole Rhythm Nation black military hat, ponytail. So that's how she was when she got her walk on the Hall of Fame. Again, we are having these videos that Rene took during that time period. Now, this is the question I have. Are her and Rene at a better place these days, and he shared these videos with for the documentary? Because if the documentary, they started making it 5 years ago, her and Rene were divorced 5 years ago. And so I'm wondering if they were in a good place or a good enough place where he didn't have a problem sharing his videos, or in the divorce, did she get control of the videos because she didn't want him to be able to use them against her or release them or something like that? Because I could definitely see that being something that could be a demand in the divorce, saying, listen, I want all them tapes. Run me them tapes, right? Hey, what's up, movie man? I totally agree with you. I honestly felt like they could have had a third night to this. Yeah, they could have. I love how Janet respects her mom's pain and didn't push. I love that. Oh my gosh, that was a moment. And what was sad is that you could see how hard it is for her mother to still deal with with Michael's death. Like, you could see, like, the minute his name came up, you saw it. You saw her face physically change. And she even said, she said, Mom, are you okay with a couple of questions? And she said, no. She said, that's fine. I can respect that. And they moved right along. And I absolutely can respect that. I absolutely can respect that. I can see her asking for those tapes. Yeah, I can absolutely see that. So I'm wondering if that's what happened, right? But neither here nor there. Thank you, Rene, because we were able to see a side of Janet that I don't think we normally would have seen, right? We were able to see that very candid, behind the scenes with her guard down side of her. But anyway, she signed the record-breaking deal with Virgin Records. And I remember when she signed this deal, I remember they never really disclosed the full amount that deal was worth, but it made her the highest paid. Because I remember right before she signed that deal with Virgin, Madonna had just signed a new deal. And whatever that deal Madonna had, it had made her like the number one artist. And then Janet came right behind her. It was like back to back to back. It was like Michael, Madonna, Janet. But whenever Janet signed her deal, it made her the highest paid entertainer. Like, that was the most expensive contract at that time. And we're talking about 1991, maybe 92. To get a $50 million record deal was it hadn't happened. Exactly, Abby. Exactly. Now, people expected her to go into the studio, but that's when she made Poetic Justice. Now, that's the first thing that I'm going to say I feel like we glossed over. And I understand that maybe Janet don't want to speak ill of the dead, okay? But it was very much reported that Janet and Tupac did not get along when they were making that movie. And you could even hear, see, let me say this. In part 1 and part 2, you had to read between the lines on some things. But in part 3 and part 4, baby, you had to read between the lines and a lot of stuff. You had to hear what people were saying and understand what they meant, okay? And Regina King was saying without saying, yeah, they ain't really get along. And it was a whole lot of back and forth with the two of them. But underneath it all, I think they really did like each other. And she even said, I think if maybe she weren't in a relationship, maybe some things might have went down. And that ain't how she worded it. That's what she said, but that ain't how she worded it. And you said John Singleton made up that nasty rumor of her making him get an AIDS test before they kissed. Yeah, I remember hearing about that. Yeah, I remember that. I remember hearing about that too. And that's, yeah, Abby, and that's what Regina King was alluding to, was that all of that back and forth and them arguing and them not getting along was really just that, sexual energy. And again, she said underneath it all, they really did like each other. And I think they probably did too. And I feel like, because let's be clear, if Janet Jackson could date, be engaged to, and consider having children by a Jermaine Dupri, she's not that stuck up. She's not, well, I ain't gonna say she's that, I don't think she's stuck up at all. But that whole air that they were trying to put about her, that she was so stuck up that she couldn't be cool with somebody like a Tupac. But that's just not true. It's just not true. Yeah, she did. It's exactly, keep it cute. She was real classy about how she said it. But what she said was, if Rene hadn't been standing over in the corner watching her every move, it might have been some getting down with the get down. Because remember, she dated Todd Bridges, which I wish they hadn't glossed over that, because again, I think it goes back to her theme of saying how she always had a bad habit of dating guys with drug problems. Because we know Todd Bridges had a drug problem even when he was on Different Strokes as a kid. I think that added to that narrative of, I'm dealing with men with drug problems. We know Bobby Brown, Mr. Bad Boy himself, allegedly. We know she dated Q-Tip for a little while. I really think they were more friends with benefits, but they dated. They dated. So I just feel like, I feel like they could have given us a little bit more with the Poetic Justice. But again, I know they were limited in time, because as a Janet fan, we could do this all day. Okay. Rene directed the Again video, which was the first time that Rene directed Janet. That was in 1993. And we saw a different Janet in that video. We saw that whole sexy Janet, right? That was when we first saw the sexy Janet was in her Love Will Never Do Without You video. I think was the first time we saw it. And El Teddy could probably tell me the years better. I'm not sure if Love Will Never Do Without You came before Again, or Again came before Love Will Never Do Without You. But neither here nor there. I remember when that Love Will Never Do Without You video came out, it broke. In today's language, we would say it broke the internet. It broke MTV, because we hadn't seen that Janet before. We had not seen that sexy. We hadn't seen the midriff. We ain't seen the six pack, right? We hadn't seen that Janet before. So I think that actually came before Again, but don't quote me on that, y'all, because somebody will tell me in the chat. I know y'all will. But I loved Again. I absolutely loved Again. We got the sexy. Gary Duran was her co-star. We know that's Shazaa from A Different World and CSI, the original CSI. He was on the original CSI. And listen, he's still fine, okay? But he was fine, all right? Right, Janet hasn't bought into her own hype. She doesn't believe she's too good. Yeah, she absolutely doesn't. Like, we're gonna get a little bit more into how Janet really be getting down, okay? We're gonna get to that in a minute too. So we're hearing people talk about, okay, so it was Rhythm Nation. So then, okay, so Rhythm Nation, thank you, Lauren. I knew somebody would let me know. So the Love Will Never Do Without You video was the first time we saw that sexy Janet. Up until then, it had been all black, right? It had, in Control, she wore the black all the time, or in Control, and Rhythm Nation, we know she had the whole black military thing going on, and then she just came out with Love Would Never Do Without You, and we were like, what? Janet with the six pack? What? Right? Okay. So again, was very sexy. And again, Rene. Thank you, Quintessential. You'll be going to the nicest restaurants. Listen, when me and Abby come to Chicago, girl, you got to take us to some of these spots because you'll be posting up some good stuff, honey. You be posting some good stuff. Since we live in different times where people's privacy is not respected, because if Janet was doing all this dating now, she'd have been called right, and we would have pictures of it, and they would be documented. Oh yeah, it would be a whole different world. Absolutely. Listen, I am shocked, and let me knock on some wood. I am shocked that we haven't gotten more pictures of her son. Like, whatever she's doing to protect her son, she is doing a really good job. Because there are not a lot of, I'm not going to say there aren't any, because obviously there are some, but there are not a lot of pictures of her son. There are not. Matter of fact, on the documentary, all we saw was his hand. We saw his little hand when they were on the tour bus. He saw his little hand reaching for the light switch. And so she's done a good job of keeping him away from people. I don't know what she doing, baby, but she using decoy trucks, and I don't know, but she doing it. She is doing it. She talked to Beyonce on how to protect your kids, baby. Because listen, Beyonce, that's another one. Blue Ivy, we get to see Blue Ivy, but I swear them twins, baby, them twins make a once-a-year appearance. They make a once-a-year appearance, child. We've been trying to get me a six-pack, child. Okay, beautiful tea. Baby, Jenny came out there with that six-pack, and people was like, what? We're going to talk about that in a minute, too. So, we're hearing her, Tina, and Tina were really good friends for a long time. Tina was her choreographer, and they were friends, and I don't know if they fell out or if they just drifted apart. I think they might have had like a little tiff. I think they might be in a better place now, but I think there was a little tiff. I remember hearing, and again, you can't believe everything you hear, but I think I remember hearing that they had some sort of little tiff. And again, it might be one of those things where it happened and they got over it, because she didn't seem to have a grudge or nothing, and she participated in the documentary. So, and Tina ain't aging very well. And y'all know I don't be talking about people like that, but she ain't aging very well. Did y'all see it, Tina? Because Tina used to be my girl. Because Tina was like that white girl with the rhythm and had the little cute bob. Tina was my girl. I used to love Tina. But anyway, she talked about Rene and how overbearing he was, and just how he was always around. He was always hovering, and it was just suffocating, and it was just too much. Right? We don't even know. Like, we ain't seen Kerry Washington kids even, child. We don't know them people. Tina Landon still dances. I'm sure she still does, because even when you're a dancer, you're a dancer. Even if you pick up a little weight, even if you get a little older. Look at Debbie Allen. Debbie Allen, 100 years old, and her ass still be getting it in. I just saw her do a TikTok challenge like a couple of days ago. Listen, Debbie don't play with these people. Tina looks like she drink. Listen, all I'm saying is she ain't aging well. Because Rene had no job. They were over Rene by that. Yeah, you could tell everybody was over Rene by that Hawaii trip. So Tina also said that during this time period, and again, this is one of those things you had to read between the lines. When she said it, y'all, she said that Janet also got, her and Rene were in a really good place early on. She talked before we got to the end, and that, Janet had built up her confidence. She was more confident in who she was, and her and Rene were more confident, and they began exploring things sensually. She didn't say sexually, she said sensually, right? And if you read between the lines, I know she's not 100 quintessential. I'm just saying, no, I was just exaggerating to make my point. I put a little sauce on it. But if you read between the lines, because we know that that's around the time that Janet got her nipples pierced. And I remember her when she was on Oprah, because Oprah asked her about getting her nipples pierced. And she said, well, I told my boyfriend that, because she was calling him her boyfriend, even though they was really married, but she was telling everybody they was just dating. Okay. She said, well, I told my boyfriend I wanted to get something pierced, and he had a choice. Either it was going to be my nipples or it was going to be, she didn't say her clitoris, but she said down below. He had a choice, and so he chose the nipples. And so I remember thinking, oh my goodness, Janet, what? We piercing clitorises and stuff? And so it makes me think, you caught that exploring? Yes. You caught that? Okay, so I wasn't the only one who caught the exploring part, right? And again, it's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying it to shame her. I'm not saying it like it's something wrong. We just talking about what wasn't said. That's all. We just talking about what wasn't said. And if you read between the lines, boom. I'm not gonna say I think she's a lesbian. I think she's probably explored. I think she's probably maybe been in, situations where there's a third party in the bedroom. But I don't think that I don't think, and I used to think this way, but I have evolved. But I don't think that every sexual experience with someone of the same sex means you're automatically gay or lesbian. I don't believe that. But I think she may have explored. Now, I do think she may have explored. And then the whole situation happened. Then we had the Rolling Stone cover, and that's what she was talking about, how confident Janet had become. And that's iconic. I used to have a t-shirt with that cover on it. I don't know why I had the t-shirt with the cover on it, because I was a Janet fan and I had that t-shirt. She talked about that. She talked about the Rolling Stone cover and the fact, Rebe was like, I ain't like it. That's just private. Her mama ain't like it. What's up, Superwash? Mwah. Her mama ain't like it. Right. She might have been bi-curious. Right. Tina probably cursed out Rene a few times. I feel that type of energy. Yeah, I definitely feel like Tina and Rene didn't get along. I felt like I got the impression that Tina didn't like Rene. The way she talked, she was being very, very politically correct in her words, but it was clear that she wasn't crazy about Rene. Now, I felt like that was clear. Right, Rebe don't be playing them games. Rebe said, no, ma'am. I ain't like that album cover. She said, I'm not a prude. I just think there's certain things you just got to say for the bedroom. I said, I know that's right, Rebe. You let them know. Rebe. But then we started seeing the decline of their relationship. And we find out that Rene had a pill addiction, which again goes along with what Janet spoke on when she said she seemed to always date men that had some sort of drug addiction issue. And again, I feel like you could probably throw Bobby Brown and Todd Bridges in that mix, but that's me. We saw the footage from Hawaii where they were over it. Janet was over it. And you saw where Rene was turning instead of capturing candid moments, he was trying to create moments. So there was I ain't know who knew Catherine Jackson had a house in Hawaii. I ain't know Catherine Jackson had a house in Hawaii. Janet was staying in Hawaii for 2 weeks to vacation and just sort of, regroup. And they were like, she went to visit her mom's house in Hawaii. Go on, Catherine, with your house in Hawaii, girl. I ain't mad at Catherine. She deserved it more, child, for spitting out them 9 babies, them big-headed babies, child. But there was this, Janet came in the house and surprised her mother, and he got that on tape, but I guess he didn't get the rest of it. And so he wanted her to do it again. And she was like, no, that's going to look too planned. No, we're not doing it again. And he really wanted her to do it again. And then she was telling him, don't film my mother. And he was like, oh, come on. She was like, no, I'm serious. And you could hear it. Like, you could hear it in her voice that she meant that thing. She like, no, don't film my mother. Now, when I heard that Rene had a pill addiction, it brought me back to a story. I put this in my review, but it brought me back to a story where their former housekeeper accused them. I don't remember whether she got arrested or whether she just went to the press. I don't remember, y'all, because again, this was 10 years ago and I don't remember every detail. But I remember the story because I remember thinking, I don't think Janet would do that. Where she accused them of making her giving her false, fake scripts and getting her to fill the prescriptions. What I don't think they were fake scripts; they were real prescriptions, but they were filling the prescriptions in her name because they didn't want Janet Jackson's name or his name connected. Because I guess they didn't want people to get a hold of the fact that they was getting all these damn prescriptions filled, right? And I thought about it, and I said, you know what? When that story first came out, I don't know if I believed that woman, but now I'm like, okay, yeah, I believe her because that's a junkie stunt, right? That's what a junkie would do. You need your pills. You done found a doctor to give you a bunch of scripts. Because let's be clear, these are celebrities. They can get the doctors to get them the scripts, but you don't want the scripts in your name. You know how many celebrities get prescriptions put in their housekeepers, their nannies, their personal assistants' names? That happens all the time. And so now, knowing that this man had an addiction to pills, I believe the story. I really believe the story now. Them kids love their mommy, Catherine. She can't get, they love their mama, child. What drugs did Janet reveal she tested? She didn't. She never said that she revealed that she tried anything. She didn't admit to nothing on camera. They didn't even go there. But I can believe that Rene, I can believe it from if he was addicted to pills, I can believe that some shady stuff was going down to get him his pills. That's all I'm saying. And I ain't saying that Janet was involved, although a woman in love will do some shit. So I'm not going to say she didn't. But I absolutely believe the housekeeper now that they put scripts in her name. I believe it. Yep, that's common practice. They put the scripts in different names and have their assistants say, absolutely. Absolutely. They do it all the time. And I believe it. Now I'm just gonna say, and I remember Janet having a house in Hawaii. I remember her having a house in, I'm not sure what island, but I remember Janet having a house in Hawaii at one point in time. She may not anymore, but I remember at one point in time she did. I remember her doing that, having one there. So that was sort of the end of their situation. They said by the time the Velvet Rope tour came around, Tina said she knew it was over because he ain't go on tour. And again, we remember that Rene wouldn't let Janet out of his sight. They were joined at the hip. And for him not to go on tour with her, that absolutely was the beginning of the end. And we know that it got nasty between the two of them because Rene wanted money from Janet. He tried to say that, he did this and he did that for her career. And I don't believe they had a prenup, but I'm sure she gave him a nice little settlement and his ass went the hell away. But I remember it getting nasty. And even on the Velvet Rope, there's a song on there dealing with abuse. And I remember Janet, when she went on tour alluding to it being based on a true story. And of course, everybody thought it was Rene because her and Rene had just broken up. I don't know if it was Rene or not, but I remember that. But she did say that Rene was emotionally abusive and he would come after her about her weight, knowing that was an issue with her. And she talked about, and again, here's another issue where y'all had another point where y'all had to read between the lines. She said, my problems developed as young as when I was on Good Times. She said, I've always been an emotional eater and it would go up and it would go down and I couldn't control it. And that's when I started developing my problems and my issues. Now, I feel this is me I'm putting my sauce on it. Y'all tell me if I'm doing too much. Tell me if I'm putting too much sauce, but this is me putting my sauce on it. I feel like Janet was alluding to maybe having some eating disorders. Now, did I put too much sauce on it? Did I put too much? Y'all tell me. I feel like she was talking about having eating disorders. And again, over the years, Janet has talked about her weight and how hard it has been for her with her weight. The court, because she always said, when I was touring, I never had a problem with my weight because hell, I'm dancing every night and I'm burning off all these calories. But whenever she was off tour in those between those years of while she was making an album, she said she always picked up weight. She always picked up weight when she wasn't on tour because she wasn't burning, like, you know, she could eat whatever she wanted when she was touring. Because hell, you know, y'all been to a Janet Jackson show, and if you haven't, you don't know what you're missing, child. Sounds plausible. Nope, you're right. I remember hearing that when I was younger, she put him on blast. And Son of a Gun, Stupid B, in My Beach House, I Bet You Think This Song. Yes. She made a couple of songs. And now that song she did say was about, well, she didn't say it, but we knew that. Because Rene was really coming for her, y'all. Rene was really coming for her shit, you know? And he's talking about how he helped make her and he developed her and he did this and he did that. And the problem is, would Janet Jackson have still been Janet Jackson without him? Absolutely. But did he help? Was he there? Did he direct videos? Did he consult? Did he do? Yeah, we saw that on tape. Now, she could have absolutely found somebody to do it without him. Let's be clear. Because we saw her stylist, and this man didn't get paid enough because this man has been styling Janet Jackson. Well, he styled Janet Jackson for about 10 years. Bitch, we know that Janet always gave us something. Always gave us something, okay? Her hair. I wanted to meet her hairdresser because Janet's hair has always been amazing. Always been amazing. Once she got out of that 80s style and like the little feathered thing, once she let that go, I'm going to say from Control on forward. Baby, I don't know who the hell does Janet's hair, but it is here, okay? She was at her heaviest on the video was in the When I Think of You. Yeah, When I Think of You video, she was, and let me tell y'all something. When we get done here, don't do it now, okay? When we get done here, go look at the When I Think of You video. You can tell by the way she's dressed in that video that she was not comfortable with her weight. You can see she's got a baggy shirt on that's buttoned all the way up here, and it comes down to her knees and some leggings. You can tell she's not comfortable in that video. She could have been just easy to gain weight. Some people are, but I think that is. I think it's easy for. That's what she's saying. It's easy for her to gain weight, and when she's on tour, this light keeps acting stupid. When she's on tour, it's easy for her to lose weight, and when she's getting ready for tour because she's rehearsing for 10, 12 hours a day, just dancing, it's a lot easier. Yes, I was happy that Charlene look was over. That Charlene, right? That Charlene look, yes, yeah. The way that little feathered thing she had going on, yes. Once whoever started doing her hair with Control, from that point forward, whoever did Janet Jackson's hair, bitch, yes. There were very few times that I ever saw Janet's hair and was like, ooh. It was always, oh my God. You know what I mean? Like that look, and even when you look at the thing I love about her hair was that it was ahead of its time because, like, when I looked at the clips from the Again video, like, I would wear that hairdo now. That crinkled, long, like, natural, dirty blonde. Bitch, I would wear that hair now. The velvet rope hair. One of my students came into school right before Christmas. She had dyed her hair red, and she was wearing it natural. And as soon as she walked through the door, I said, oh, my goodness. You are giving me velvet rope, Janet Jackson velvet rope tees right now. Like her hair looked, and that's what I saw. I even sent the picture to Spiller Boy. I said, what does that look like to you? He said, oh, yes, that is Janet. And so it's not dated. Like you look at her hair now. I mean, you look at all those old looks and you are like, she even had, remember that when she did the, I can't think of the damn song, but it had the Japanese influence. It was like she was in Japan. She had the Bantu knots. Like, bitch, Janet. Right, she had the crochet braids. Yes. You kind of eyeing the velvet rope. Yes. Miss You So Much. I Get So Lonely look was absolutely. That's what the Pleasure Principle is one of my favorite looks. And again, it is not dated. Because even if you see somebody with that Pleasure Principle look, you know it's a throwback to the 90s, but you can still jazz it up. You know it's a throwback. Anyway, we done got, y'all always get me off topic. Let's get back to this, child. We ain't even out of part 3 yet, okay? So after this was going on, she was getting ready to sign this monumental, earth-shattering, groundbreaking deal with Coke. Remember that Michael Jackson had always been affiliated with Pepsi. Y'all, if y'all are too young to remember, y'all don't remember the Cola Wars of the 80s and 90s, the Coke and Pepsi boom, Clash of the Titans. And so Coke was getting ready to do, what's up, Markel? And right. I really wish she had addressed some of the rumors that came out. I mean, I think maybe she's over it and she didn't want to give it any light. But I thought about that too, Markel, to her taking out her rib and, you know, just some of the other rumors that came out about her. But she was getting ready to sign this groundbreaking deal with Coke. Like, it was worth, you know, multi-millions. And again, we saw the clips of the meetings because Rene was in the meeting with a damn video camera. And literally the day she was supposed to sign the paperwork, the allegations about Michael Jackson came out. About him, you know, when the little boys and stuff. And so Coke pulled away from the table. She said, you know, I was guilty by association. And from that point forward, I felt like things shifted in her relationship with her family and her relationship with Michael. Now, she said that her relationship with Michael started shifting during the Thriller days. But I think that was just a natural occurrence of Michael Jackson becoming a superstar and having demands put on him and things put on him and not being able to balance his relationships with his family in a productive way, right? But here's where I feel like there's a total shift in the power structure of the Jackson family. They all were there to support Michael. She said they went home. They even moved into his house to support him, to be with him or whatever. Sidebar, is Randy Janet's like assistant? And don't get me, I'm not even saying that in a bad way, but you could see that Randy was with her throughout this documentary, not just at the beginning where she was at, and he was with her throughout different parts of the documentary. I wonder if he's like her assistant or something. And why Tito and Rebe was the only sibling. She got 20 damn siblings. They are really close. I mean, you can't, Jermaine ain't want to say nothing. Where's LaToya? Ain't nobody seen LaToya in 10 years. Where's LaToya? LaToya didn't have nothing to say. I don't know. Anyway, these are just things I noticed, child. These are just things I noticed. Right, she did say her, Mike, and Randy were the closest. Randy, her manager. Okay. I'm gonna just leave that right there. Randy, her manager. Yeah, maybe they didn't want LaToya. Maybe they ain't asked LaToya, child. Maybe they ain't want LaToya in there, honey. I don't know. And maybe Jermaine couldn't find his shellac for his hair. He couldn't make it. I don't know. Anyway, but they talked about how the family rallied around Michael. And she talked about how Michael eventually ended up settling that case, that initial case, because he just wanted it to go away. But of course, y'all know we do it all the time. When somebody settles a case, what do we automatically think? Oh, they must have been guilty, because if they weren't guilty, why did they settle the case? And I'm not about to have a debate about Michael Jackson. I'm not about to have a debate about Michael Jackson and whether he did it or not, child. That is not this video. Jermaine is too much of a diva. On one of the clips, I had him listed as brother and manager. Okay, so maybe that's what it is. And whoever you did not see, she is not close to. True. The old lady say Marlon is fine. Marlon was the daredevil back in the day. He was the one that used to drive I think he's the one that got in that real bad car accident back in the day. But he was the daredevil child. So so anyway, there was that, and she said after that happened, Michael reached out to her to do Scream. And again, let's pay attention to what wasn't being said. Let's pay attention to what wasn't being said. And what wasn't being said was, you could really almost hear it in Janet's voice and see it in her affect that she knew exactly what that was about. Because she even said, that was Randy. Okay, that was Randy. All right. She said that when she met up with Michael, she met him at his apartment in New York. And when she met up with him, she told him, "You wrong. You know he can't step out of the house without his motor oil scope." Shy, he couldn't find that shellac, honey. That's why he couldn't make it to the thing. You could see and hear it because she even said, "I told Michael, this is your thing. What do you want to say? And I'll work what I'm doing around what you want to say." Because I feel like you got a lot you want to get off your chest. And I think that Janet knew, I'm going to just go on and call a spade a spade. I think Janet knew she was being used. Because in that moment, Janet had now surpassed Michael as the biggest star. She had surpassed Michael as the bigger star. And not only had she surpassed Michael as the bigger star, she had the respect in that moment and the legitimacy. And Jackie somewhere minding his business, child. And he reached out to her to do that song, which I'm sure the record company put him up to, or he wanted to do. And even when they went to film the video, you could see the hurt when she was talking about that video. You could see the hurt, and you could hear how it just wasn't a good experience for her. She talked about how long the video shoot was, how over budget it was, how she filmed during the day, Michael filmed at night, how the record company kept them separate, almost as if to create this whole era of competition between the two of them. And she said, I was really looking forward to doing the video because I thought that would be something fun for us to work on, like old times. Like I thought it would be like old times, and it would be something fun for us to work on. But and we heard the rumors again. If you remember that time period, we heard the rumors that the two of them butted heads with Scream, and it wasn't, that they, there were two perfectionists in the room, and it just wasn't a great experience. You heard those stories, and again, to hear Janet talk, it was true. You knew it was true. Now the only thing, then she started talking about how they met in Vegas. She said she went to Michael Jackson's house in Vegas one time, and they met in Vegas to talk about a tour. And again, I remember that. Remember when the Jacksons wanted to go back out on tour? I want to say it was when they came out with the song 2300 Jackson Street. Remember when they came out with the song 2300 Jackson Street? I think they were trying to do a tour, but of course, they wanted Michael on the tour. Janet said she volunteered to open for them. Now, I need y'all can't understand how big that was, but I need y'all to understand that was the equivalent of, I'll use Beyonce because y'all understand Beyonce. Although y'all know somebody came for me in my comments about what I said about Beyonce yesterday. I said, see, that's what I'm talking about right there. Y'all stands don't listen. I wasn't saying anything negative about Beyonce. Okay, but anyway. That is like Beyonce saying she'll open up for Kelly Rowland. Now listen, ain't nothing wrong with Kelly, and we know that Kelly can, she can have a concert at she might be able to sell out a 10,000 person room. But we know that Beyonce sells out stadiums, right? Now, Michael Jackson could still sell out a stadium, but in that moment, Michael Jackson was persona non grata. So for Janet to say, hey, I'm going to go on tour with my brothers, the Jacksons, who ain't had a hit record in 20 years, and I'm Janet, the top of the world, one of the highest paid entertainers in the world, I'll open for them as a way to bring the family together. I'm putting too much stake on it. Too much stake. Maybe Beyonce opening for Tina. No, I don't even think that's the same as a Tina Turner. Maybe Tina and Ike. Because again, it wasn't she was opening for Michael, she was opening for the Jacksons. Remember that. She wasn't opening for Michael Jackson. She was opening for the brothers, the Jacksons. But she was saying that she would be willing to do that because she, again, bringing the family. Even Issa said that the music industry was one of the worst industries she ever encountered. She also said it's abusive and full of crooks and criminals just in December. Oh, wow. Issa, right? I didn't know she did music. The brothers wanted to make some dollars, but they wanted and needed Michael. Right. And Michael ain't want to do it. Right. Michael ain't want to do it. Oh, that person was putting too much. Oh, okay. Oh, no, child, that person was in my comments acting a whole fool, child. So, what's up, Tabitha? Hey, boo. So, the thing that I disagree with Janet is because I felt like instead of blaming Michael for any of this, she kept putting it on his record company and his handlers and the people around him. And I'm gonna say this, and I mean, I ain't trying to speak ill of the dead. You know, I love me some Michael Jackson. Thank you. Yes, King Retro, baby. I be trying. I ain't trying to say nothing bad about Michael. But what I am going to say is I don't think we can give all of that to other people. I think Mike need to take some of that responsibility because I think some of that was Michael. I don't think all of that was other people. I think some of that was Mike. But again, that's your brother, and I know you don't want to put it on him, but all of that ain't other people. Some of that's Michael. Feel what I'm saying? Now that's how I feel. Now y'all tell me if y'all wrong. Blame Joseph. He abused. Oh Lord, not blame Joseph. Joe wasn't even nowhere around there. Joe wasn't even there. Why we blaming Joe? Joe wasn't even around no more. Joe was on an allowance. If Mike was going to be on the show, it was already going to be a spectacle. Exactly. I mean, the thing is this. Michael Jackson was still Michael Jackson, even with all of the allegations. But again, in real time, it's easy for us to look back now and not understand exactly how bad those allegations hit him in the U.S. Now, let's be clear. He was still selling out stadiums overseas. Because remember, Michael Jackson stopped touring in the United States. He only toured internationally for a long time. He stopped touring in the United States because of how bad things had gotten here with him and the press and all of that stuff. I agree. Some of that was definitely Michael. At the end of the day, he was a Virgo and I'm a Virgo and I know how we do. Oh, we bullheaded. I say Joseph because of the long-term effects of abuse. Yeah, well, okay. Okay. So I just feel like again, I feel like you could see the pain in her voice that was something really hard for her to deal with and come to grips with, that's how things sort of dissolved. And he acted guilty by being weird at times. Who? Michael? I agree. I believe Michael used other people to say no so he wouldn't have to, especially to his family. It was bad. It was bad for him. Remember, they were saying Mike came out on stage at a Jay-Z concert or something. Oh, I don't remember that. Listen, I can't remember everything that happened, child. I'm old. But yeah, it probably happened. So yeah. So that was that, y'all. So that was that. So all of that was going on, honey. All that was going on. And then, oh, wait a minute. Remember. Oh, I already said that part. Okay. Child, I got ahead of myself. I done talked about all this stuff. She also talked about, yeah. Okay. So let's get to, she started dating Jermaine Dupri, child. They met through somehow in the music industry and they started dating. She was still living on the West Coast. He was still living on the East Coast, but they dated for many years. They dated a long time. I forgot how long they dated, child. They dated a long time. And then the Super Bowl rolls around. Okay. The Super Bowl rolls around. It probably wasn't personal. I don't think being around any of the family like that. Nevertheless, Thug's dudes were still passing out. You must be talking about something else. Some of it might have been Tommy Mottola. Also, he was the head of Sony at the time, and Michael hated his ass. Maybe. The brothers have always been jealous. Jermaine did a diss song about Mike. Mike told him not to release it. Next thing we knew, Jermaine was dropped from his record label. Child. Jermaine was just trying to get a hit. Jermaine was just trying to get a hit, honey. He was like, however, I gotta make it happen. I still think, child. We talked about that yesterday, Tracy. She said, I still think she had a baby. I don't think she had a baby. I think she was pregnant, though. Uh-oh. Sorry, y'all. I think she was pregnant, though, but I don't think she had a baby. But we talked about that yesterday, Tracy. Girl, we talked about that yesterday. So here comes the Super Bowl, 2004. How many of y'all remember that Super Bowl? How many of y'all old enough to remember the Janet Jackson 2004 nip slip Super Bowl situation? Go on, put a 1 in the chat if you remember the 2004 Janet Jackson nip slip situation. Okay. Y'all, look. I love Janet. Y'all know I love Janet. I told y'all that I love Janet. I talked about how much I love Janet. I'm still not convinced that it was an accident. I'm just not, y'all. Now, put it in the chat. Y'all tell me if I'm wrong. I'm still not convinced. Now, I love Janet. I love her. I do. But Janet was all... Listen. One thing about them 80s and 90s artists, because they didn't have what we have today with social media, right? Those 80s and 90s artists always knew how to give you something new. When they had a new album coming out, they always knew how they had to do something new. For shock value, Michael Jackson did it. Madonna did it. Prince did it. Janet did it. Every time Janet had a new album, you got a new Janet. You got a new look. You got a new hair. You got something new from Janet Jackson, okay? And when she did that Super Bowl, Janet was feeling her sexuality and all of that, okay? I honestly think it was planned, but I don't think she anticipated the backlash. I just don't. And I think that's why she let Justin off the hook, because she said in that documentary that Justin called her. It was a shock. It was a stunt, Jonathan. It was shock value. She had an album coming out the next day. She had an album getting ready to come out. She was performing at the Super Bowl. I don't think she thought it was going to be that serious, because at the end of the day, it had jewelry on it. It wasn't just like a nip. Like, she had a whole designer piece on her nipple. Like, it was dressed up. It was a dressed up nipple. Yeah. Now that's, again, and if you even think of the song, the words that Justin Timberlake was singing, somebody, I'm gonna have you out of this dress by the end of this song, and he went to rip it away. And you mean to tell me Miss Perfectionist Janet Jackson, he pulled so hard. He pulled so hard. Y'all. And I love Janet. I do. But Janet, I'm not going to let you have that one. Now, I'm going to let you have that you ain't really had no baby. I'm going to let that go. Okay, Janet? I'm going to let that go. I'm even going to let it go. About you taking a rib out. I'm going to let all that go, Janet. But I'm not letting this go. Janet, you did it. You did it, Janet. I'm not letting it go. And I think that's why she let Justin off the hook, because she said that Justin called her and said, well, should I make a statement? Should I say something? Which I believe. I believe Justin did reach out to her because it was planned. And she told him, no, everybody's mad at me. All of the anger is coming at me. I'll just deal with it. You stay out of it. Because remember, Janet was here at the time. Justin was just starting. His solo career he wasn't what he is today. And I think she thought that she could ride it out. I don't think in a million years that she thought it would go as deep as it went. I don't think she thought it would go as deep as her being banned from the Super Bowl and being banned from CBS and not being able to come to the Grammys and the money that the fines. I don't think she thought it was going to be that deep. I just don't. You know, you sitting around and you coming up with stuff and you think something is a good idea. I just don't think she thought it was going to be that deep. I think it was planned as well. There was a whole MTV article days before promising. Yeah, they said it was gonna be some shocking moments, and I'll be honest with y'all. I saw the performance. It wasn't nothing else there shocking to me, and they absolutely said that. Zap said, "Why would you plan something like that?" OMG, it was 2004. Absolutely, it was 2004. I don't know what that means. Do you not remember Madonna kissing Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera on stage? That was in the 2000s too. You don't remember Prince doing a performance with pants that had his ass out? Like, we did these shocking things. These performers did these shocking things. I always thought it was planned to a certain extent. I think Justin pulled too much of the fabric. Okay. Justin caved and couldn't take the pressure. Is she still banned? I don't think she's still banned because Justin invited her to come on to the Super Bowl. Because remember he performed at the Super Bowl a couple of years ago, and people were like, "Is Janet coming? Is Janet coming? He need to invite Janet. He need to have Janet." But he invited Janet, and she was like, "Yeah, no, I'm good." Her career has never recovered from that. Now, granted, music has changed and things have evolved. But Janet Jackson's career never recovered from that. She never was at the pinnacle. That definitely knocked her down. Again, she's still an icon. Let's be clear. She can still sell out a concert. That is not what I'm talking about. But her days of debut albums being number one and all of these multi-singles going gold and platinum, she's never had that again. She's never. You look at her music catalog, that was the end of that. She's never had that again. She's had hit songs, yes, but she's never had those albums, those impactful albums. I can't stand Les or Julie Chen to this day because of what they did to Janet, and look what happened to Les. Well, I don't think she's banned, but she still don't rock with them like that. Yeah, I don't think she's banned anymore, but I mean, these are the things that when it first happened. The lyric was, "I'm going to get you naked by the end of the song." Thank you, Abby. Abby always be having my back, child. They said families were there and they were trying to see the nips with the dips, child. I know I was at a Super Bowl party and we rewound because we had we had a DVR, baby. We rewound that thing 20 times because we was like, because it had, and that's the other thing I need y'all to understand. In real time, it went like that. In real time, it wasn't that. We had to rewind that thing. I know we spent the whole commercial break rewinding that shit because we really were like, are those her nipples or not? Are those really her nipples? Like, y'all, you had to slow that shit down and get a still picture in order to really see it. But in real time, it was like that. Well, yes, you're right. If there was not enough adhesive on the pasty that was to cover her nipple, then it could have possibly come off when Justin pulled to cover up. Maybe, child. Whatever, J-Lo did a whole pole dance. Listen, I said in my review, y'all compare that to what we saw on this year's Billboard Awards when Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion performed WAP. Now, y'all tell me. The head of CBS at the time admitted recently that they ruined her career. They did. Janet would never return to Super Bowl. Sheila E., when I was in 5th grade, in that bathing suit at the American Music Awards, my mama made me go to bed. Not banned because Les Moonves scandals came out. Now he blackballed Janet because she would not. Right, Janet wouldn't apologize. Right. And I was never mad at her for that. I was never mad at Janet for saying, fuck y'all and your Super Bowl. J-Lo don't count. She don't even see. I'm with Tyler Perry on this one. It's just a fucking nibble. Exactly. I agree. They held that particular incident against her. I was disappointed there was no explanation from Janet or Wardrobe about the incident. Why didn't she explain what was that? See, Tosh, that's what I'm saying. Because I'm going to even give y'all the benefit of the doubt on that. I'm going to even go with y'all and say, maybe he was supposed to pull at it, but he pulled too hard. Then say that. Say, look, it got a little good to us, okay? We was on stage, we was moving and grooving. He got a little, and it was too much. Like, it was supposed to be like a see-through bra because I think she had like some sort of red bra or something. It was supposed to just be a see-through moment, a peekaboo moment. Like, give me something. But I agree. Now, Tosh, if they had her wardrobe person give us an explanation as to what was supposed to happen, I might even be there with you. I agree. I agree with that. I agree with that. I remember my mom screamed so loud. I was like 10 at the time. My eyes were glued to the TV. It was so quick. If you listen, it was only because people slowed that shit down and took still pictures of it. Now, granted, in 2022, child, that thing would have been viral, and it would have been every TikTok, Instagram, live. It would have been everywhere. I swear it was pasties. One nipple, and look what they're allowing now. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. I remember that Super Bowl because we don't even notice it happened until they say something. Right. You really had to be like, was that? Because that's exactly what we did. We were like, did it? Rewind it. And we rewound it like 5 or 6 times, y'all. I remember running to my mom and ask her if we saw what happened because it went by so fast. Incorrect. In 2015, Unbreakable album was the 7th #1 hit album for decades, and it did spawn a few. Okay, Mark. I really wish y'all would stop trying to make me be wrong. Listen to what you just said. In 2015, her Unbreakable album, her 7th #1 hit album in 4 decades, and it did spawn a few top 10 hit singles. Compare that to the Velvet Rope. I want you to go and Google how long did the Velvet Rope, it debuted at #1. How long did it stay #1? And how many #1 hits did it have? Now you compare that to what you just said about Unbreakable. It's not the same. I said that she had some hits. I didn't say she ain't had no more hits. I said she never matched where she was prior to the Super Bowl, and she hasn't. I stand on that. Go Google the Velvet Rope. Tell me how many weeks the Velvet Rope stayed it debuted at #1, and how many weeks did it stay at #1? Tell me how many hits did the Velvet Rope have, and how many #1 hits. You're telling me that Unbreakable was a #1 album and it had a few top 10 hits. That's 2 different things, baby. It's not the same. Or when Normani climbed all over Tiana Taylor. Child. Was there ever an apology? Not by Janet. Janet never apologized. Not to my knowledge. Let me say that. I expected her costume designer to explain it. Yeah, I was waiting for that to happen, child. Right, he was at the thing. In this day and time, it would be it would not be a big deal at all. We wouldn't think nothing of it. Yep. I was like, did I just see? No way. Right. She did talk about that, I do believe, when she did the Oprah interview. Well, we were talking about the documentary, baby. We talking about nothing was said in the documentary. Ain't nobody going back and looking at old Oprah interviews. Oprah ain't had a show in 20 years. She been retired for 20 years. Nobody going back and looking at old Oprah interviews. Velvet Rope is my favorite album. That's probably why I use that as an example. But the Velvet Rope is my favorite Janet album. JD could have kept that album, but I love Child. That album that JD produced was horrible. It was just horrible. Her choreographer said a lot of heads rolled behind that incident. I have a hard time believing Janet didn't consider people may lose their jobs behind a stunt. I don't think she thought it was going to be that big. I really don't think she thought it was going to be that big of a deal. I just don't. Because honestly, again, for those of us who were adults at the time, which I hate to admit that I was, but for those of us who were adults at the time, when all of the backlash started coming, I was like, what's the big deal? Like, I didn't see what the big deal was in that moment. I was surprised at the amount of backlash she got. I was surprised. I was like, this what we doing? Like, we really banning her? We really talking about she can't be, like, I remember her not being on the Grammys was a huge, huge thing that she got uninvited from the Grammys. I remember that being a huge thing. To this day, I blast Rhythm Nation in my car. I think she did put out a statement. I can't remember for sure, though. Yeah, I believe she put out a statement eventually, but they wanted her to, like, do this whole, like, she did give a tape to Paula. Yeah, I remember they wanted her to do like this whole thing, and she did eventually come out. I think she did. You're right. Y'all are right. Y'all are right. She did eventually come out and say something. I swear there was a clip of the costume designer explaining the situation before the doc came out. They might have cut it out of the doc. They might have. No, Tabitha, you know I love you, boo. You know I love you, boo. Right, Miley Cyrus' whole dress came off on TV during New Year's Eve. Well, she did. That was a now that I think that was a legit wardrobe malfunction, because you could tell by the way she reached. I think that was a legit wardrobe malfunction. The thing is, Janet apologized over 20 times, even at the Grammys that year. People need to stop their bullshit. Yep. I don't think it was a big deal either. I don't understand why backlash was so big and so swift. Right, exactly. What's up, Jason? So anyway, y'all, so that's okay. So I done got caught up on the comments. All right, we almost done. We almost done with the docu. So then she had her 40th birthday party. Her album Demeter Joe came out. Her and Jermaine broke up because Jermaine cheated on her. And she said he also did not have enough time for her. But I think they still love each other. I think they need to go and make that work. Okay. Then she did Why Did I Get Married? And Why Did I Get Married To? While she was filming Why Did I Get Married To, Michael Jackson died. And of course, I don't even need to go down that road. I still remember where I was when I got the news that Michael Jackson died, honey. She talked about having a baby at the age of 50. She said that she never thought that she would be a mother. But that, you know, her and her husband, she said she flew from Switzerland to Italy, getting injections, getting treatments so that she could have a baby. She got pregnant at 49, had that baby when she was 50. And she said that is her greatest accomplishment. She wouldn't trade being a mother for anything in the world. Her face lit up when she talked about that baby. Okay. Her face lit up. Okay. Then Joe Jackson died. He had a battle with cancer. And she said that she appreciates the fact that she was able to give him his roses while he was still here before he got sick. She appreciated the fact that she was able to let him know in real time that she loved him. And she was thankful for everything he did for her. She said, you know, I didn't necessarily choose this career, but I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. I love the fact that I'm a performer. I love the fact that my father created this opportunity for me. Because remember, in the first part of the documentary, she said she wanted to go to Pepperdine and become a lawyer. And her father basically told her, yeah, no, you're not going to be a lawyer. You about to be an entertainer. But she said that she was able to come back around to him and let him know, thank you. Thank you for all that you did. Thank you for pushing me into this career because I absolutely love it. Right. Jonathan, I forgot that. I'm not even going to lie, y'all. And I don't mean this to be disrespectful. I really forgot that Joe Jackson had passed away. I forgot. I remember once they said it, but I really had forgot that he died. I didn't know about the treatments in order to get pregnant. I thought she naturally. No, she said she did treatments from. She said she flew to Italy. She flew to Switzerland to get treatments to get pregnant. Child. Jermaine said their relationship lasted longer than her marriage. Yeah. I forgot they were together that long because remember, they were dating for a long time before anybody even knew. Remember that? See, again, the world before social media, they were dating a long time before people knew they were dating. And remember, she used to talk about going to the script clubs with Jermaine, and she used to enjoy going to the script clubs with him. Yeah. Joe did what he had to do to keep his kid. I know that's right. A YouTuber visited Joe Jackson's grave not long ago. Hey, Pacino, what's up, baby? Right, they were friends in quotation. Now, I wrote a list of things that I said weren't being said. Now, let me go through my list and see if I hit everything that I wanted to write about that wasn't being said, okay? So the first thing I wrote was Rene, the scandal with her. I wrote that. Okay, we talked about that. We talked about Q-Tip and her other boyfriends, okay? Because we know that she dated Q-Tip. We talked about that. Bobby Brown. Todd Bridges. Although Todd Bridges don't really, I mean, that was that little young love. They probably kissed behind the bleachers, child. I don't know. Her relationship with Michael, we talked about that. Now, here's something I forgot to bring up, child. Did y'all peep Paula Abdul getting real emotional when she was talking about Janet and how much Janet had been through and how it was something behind that emotion that Paula Abdul was giving us. Now, we know Paula Abdul can be a little woo-hoo, but it was something behind that emotion. Did y'all peep that? Yeah, Tabitha, you ain't know Janet Jackson dated Q-Tip. What was that song? Got Till It's Gone. Remember that song, Got Till It's Gone? That was on I believe it was on the Velvet Rope album. I don't have to go to Google. I know the facts regarding the Velvet Rope album. I committed that due to how you phrased what you said. Now you restated it and missed the It's okay, Mark. It's okay, baby. It's all right. I thought you was getting me together. That's why I read it like that. My bad. Okay. I thought you was getting me together, Mark. But no. Okay, no problem, baby. No problem. And that explains a little interlude in the beginning of Got Till It's Gone. I thought she and Paula had fallen out. Paula and Pebbles were shady. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think her and Paula did fall out when Paula started dating her married brother. Her and Paula Abdul did fall out. When Janet hired Paula Abdul, Janet, now this is what I remember. Again, y'all gotta remember. Y'all gotta remember. I read a lot of this stuff a long time ago. But from what I understand, right? Mark. I was reading it like that because I thought Mark was getting me together, honey, but he wasn't. We good, Mark. We good. Mwah, boo. We good, baby. From what I remember about that whole Paula Abdul, I think it was Jackie, y'all. I think it was Jackie, but don't quote me. It might have been Jermaine, but it was one of them brothers. Paula Abdul was having an affair with one of the brothers. Janet had hired Paula Abdul not knowing about the affair. But when she found out about the affair, she fired Paula Abdul. Now, that's how I remember it going down. I could be missing some of the nuances in it. It was Jermaine. Okay, I knew it was one of the older brothers. I knew it was one of the two oldest. Or older, because Tito's the oldest. One of the two older brothers. One of them Jays. But that's the way I remember reading about it going down. When she hired Paula Abdul, she didn't know about it. And it got nasty. When the affair came out, it got messy. I want to say I remember. Now, this is all allegedly. This is all allegedly, y'all. But I remember reading this. This is all allegedly. That allegedly it went down. It got nasty to the point where Jermaine's wife tried to run Paula Abdul over, or Paula Abdul tried to run Jermaine's wife over. It went down. It went down and it got nasty. But when Janet found out about it, she fired Paula Abdul. Yes, when Q-Tip and Janet Jackson made that song, Joni Mitchell Never Lies, Q-Tip produced it. That's what they were dating. That's when they were dating. Now I don't think it lasted that long. They weren't together long, but that's when they were dating. They stay having affairs. I think Mickey Howard's son is a Jackson. Ooh. Oh my. Oh yeah, Paula was. Oh yeah, Paula. Mm-hmm. And remember them brothers. Remember one of the, who is it? Jermaine married Jackie's ex-wife, or vice versa. Child, they messy. Baby, I miss life before social media because it did used to go down. Oh, see, Tabitha, you remember that story? You didn't know the woman was it was Paula Abdul, girl. It was Paula Abdul. Yes. Jermaine is messy. I remember Latoya said they barely fooled with him. Jermaine can't play victim either. He married. That's okay. Randy's ex. Okay, it was Randy's ex. Yes. So they messy. They messy, y'all. How you marrying your brother's ex anyway? Right. They were a couple briefly. Yep, King Sean. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Whitney and Jermaine, they had a little. So remember, if y'all remember early on in Whitney's career, her record company. Remember, her record company put her with Jermaine Jackson. They sang like 2 or 3 duets together. They was messing around for a minute. Mm-hmm, they sure were. Okay, so, all right. So, I don't know. Was something behind that Paula Abdul crying situation. I think that might have been it. Okay. I've already said that we didn't talk about Different Strokes. They didn't mention at all that she was on a different show. Even if they would have just mentioned it. I don't even remember seeing no screen clip or nothing. They also never mentioned the Nutty Professor movie. They skipped right over her Nutty Professor and went straight to Why Did I Get Married? I said, well, that's interesting. I mean, you would think that maybe they would have talked about it. I mean, she worked with Eddie Murphy. You know what I mean? You would think they might have talked about it, but okay, you know. And again, I know that there's editing, so some things may have just been edited out, child. We talked about her and Rene exploring themselves sexually. Now, the last thing I have on my list of the stuff that they did not talk about is her new husband. Well, her new ex-husband, because they ain't together no more. Listen, I know that he's a very private person. I know that even when they were dating, we didn't see a lot of pictures of them together when they were, married. I understand all of that. But to not mention him, I mean, and I could even understand her not necessarily wanting to get into the details of them being married and them. But girl, how did you hook up with a billionaire Muslim from the Middle East? Like, where did you meet him? I mean, how did he woo you? When y'all decided to get married, where did y'all live? Did you move to the Middle East? Did you no, Mark, we good, baby. We good. So I was like, I really wish we would have got something. I really wish we would have. And again, maybe she can't talk about him. Maybe she can't. Maybe that's part of the divorce settlement. You won't say my name, I won't say yours. But I feel like she should be allowed to at least tell her story. She don't have to say the man's name. She doesn't have to say anything negative about him. She could just say, "Listen, we grew apart. He lived on a whole nother continent. I lived here. We just couldn't make it work." Like, you could give us a politically correct answer. But for you to just not mention him at all, like, it's one thing to not talk about your people you dated. Like, I'm okay. You don't want to talk about Q-Tip. You don't want to talk about Bobby Brown. But you had a whole husband. Girl, you had a whole husband. Whitney dated Michael, and Whitney said Bubbles was sucking on her toes, and she told Michael he was going to take Bubbles home with her. Child. I love their duets too. That explains why Randy referred to his siblings as your brothers. Did Randy and Jermaine marry and have children? Yes, they did. They skipped a lot. It should have been 3 nights. She done been through some men. She might be allowed to talk. She might not be. Yeah, she might not. Let me roll back up a little bit. I think I missed some other comments. I remember hearing Whitney had an affair. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's where I left off. Okay. The children are brother, cousins, child. Oh, okay. I had gotten to it. That explains. Yeah, okay. I was caught up. I just want to make sure I got all y'all's comments. She didn't even talk. Right. Regina talked about Tupac, but she didn't even talk about Tupac. She was trying to take their son. She went on a run. It might be an NDA. Yeah, I do think that they were living. I know he's from the Middle East, but maybe he was living in London. I know that she lived overseas for a while with him. I do remember that. I remember that. There may be some secrets that Paula will be taking to her grave due to the amount of time that she split with Janet while on the TV set of Fame and working with her after the fact. Yeah, there's probably some shit she taking. You're right about that one, Mark. Listen, everybody taking some stuff to the grave, honey. And like I said, I'm okay with the fact that you don't have to tell us every little salacious bit of your life. Like, there's some stuff that as much as I would love to know everything, there's just some shit we don't need to know. It ain't our business. But for her to just not mention a whole husband, and let's be clear, that you had a kid with. Like, you actually had a child with this person. For you to just not mention a whole husband, I was like, okay, so we just not gonna talk about him at all? We just gonna pretend like he didn't exist? Okay. I think Janet did live in the Middle East mostly, but now the type of man and his religion were a complete conflict. Yeah. Not trying to start drinking for the book club, child. Jermaine and Tito? Damn. Everyone except for Quincy Jones. What about Quincy Jones? She might, and that's the only thing I can think of is that she can't mention him, because it's just interesting that you just skipped the whole husband, child. She may not want to do or say anything that will mess up their co-parenting. Maybe, because remember when they got divorced, and Janet was trying to get like child support or something, and the people was like, she got money, she don't need his money. I was like, child, that ain't got nothing to do with what she owed, okay? What she need and what she's owed are 2 different things, honey. 2 different things. Oh, Lord. But yeah, y'all. So listen, I was here for it. I enjoyed it. I want to say, even at one point, she was asking for full custody. It was nasty. Their divorce was nasty. Now that I remember, it was nasty. I got teary eyed when Catherine couldn't talk about. I know. You could definitely tell that Janet is close with her with certain people. You could tell she's still close with her mom. Even the fact that Rebe knows her son. Like, that's a telltale sign right there. That Rebe has been around and spent time with her and her son. That lets you know who she, close with. Yeah, I think the divorce is final. Oh, everybody except for Quincy. Yeah, Quincy Jones said, fuck yeah. What you gonna do? I'm 90 years old. What you gonna do? The prenup says she gets $100 million for being married to him for at least 5 years. They were married 7, and another $100,000 for having a child. So I said 200,000. So $200 million she was supposed to give. I bet you she got it. Hell, no wonder her ass was flying to Switzerland and Italy to get injections to have that baby. $100 million? Shit. And I'm just joking, y'all. I'm not saying she don't love her baby, okay? I'm just joking. But I got 100 million reasons that she was motivated. That's all I'm gonna say. We said that earlier, Kiwan. Where was Latoya and Jermaine? Listen, I'm curious about something. Hold on, and then we're gonna hold on, y'all. I'm gonna Google something real quick before we get off of here. And y'all see her music has been trending on iTunes all weekend, but that's for obvious reasons, child. Hold on, y'all. Lord, they gonna make me read through this whole article to get to the one thing I Googled. Child. Lord. I hate when you Google something and you gotta go through all this bullshit. Child. Lord. I keep hitting the wrong thing. Y'all. All right, forget it. I was just trying to find Janet Jackson's net worth. I keep coming across these whole articles. I just want the numbers. Golly. I just want the numbers. I'll look it up later. I was just trying to find just the number, what her net worth is, and I keep hitting the wrong thing. It keep taking me to these articles, and it's so much right now because of the documentary this weekend. It's so much shit. Oh, wait a minute. Here it is right here. Hold on. Okay, her net worth is estimated at 180 million. And that is 180 million. Shit, I'll take it. Last time you checked, it was around 250 million. Child. Yeah, I saw 180 million too. Right. I mean, because it's so much. Y'all know how it's so many things before it. I just wanted the number. I didn't want to read articles. I didn't want her Wikipedia. I just wanted the number. Anyway, sorry that y'all had to wait for that, child. You were never a fan of who? Janet? Yeah, Jamila. Control was her third album. No, yeah, no. Control was her third album. Her first two albums she did. Her father, they were all, very studio produced. Her father did. Control was the first album that she sort of did herself. It was her first album where her father wasn't her manager. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that Control is not her first album. Yeah, that does seem low. I think that is kind of low. I mean that's still nothing to sneeze at, but that is for me. I thought that was kind of low too. Anyway, y'all, it's 93 people in the room. Please make sure if you are not subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe and join us over here, honey. And if you have not hit that like button, go and hit the like button. Both things are free 99, y'all. Free 99. Now, those of you who want to join me in about an hour, I'm gonna be on my other channel. Little baby, can you drop the link, please? We're gonna be over there discussing. We're gonna be on that's my book club side. And we're going to be talking about Tamron Hall's book, As the Wicked Watch. We're going to be discussing chapters 1 through 5. I think I had said 1 through 6, but they're going to be 1 through 5. So y'all can join me over there. And we're not going to be over there long, y'all, because, this will be my third live of the day, honey. My third live of the day. But we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about these chapters, and we're going to talk about our next, the next chapters. Okay. That's it right there. Little baby just put it in the chat. If you want to join me over there, go ahead and subscribe. And I will see y'all over there in about an hour. At 6:30, we're going to be over there, okay? Thank y'all so much. Mwah. Peace.